It was just back in July of 2020 when Alyssa Nakken took over coaching first base, becoming the first woman coach on the field in MLB history.
Alyssa Nakken at first base, first woman ever to be a coach at the big league level.
Alyssa was initially hired by the Giants in 2014 as an intern in the baseball operations department. The opportunity to coach didn't come until 6 years later, when the newly hired manager Gabe Kapler asked her to join his coaching staff. Prior to making history with the Giants, Nakken was a 3-time All-Conference player and 4-time academic All-American at Sacramento State, going on to continue her education at the University of San Francisco, achieving a master's degree in sport management. And Nakken's not alone in the female coaching ranks. She stands alongside others like Rachel Folden, Veronica Alvarez, and Rachel Balkovitz, who was the first female full-time hitting coach in Major League Baseball. The jersey Alyssa wore on that trailblazing day in July now hangs in the Baseball Hall of Fame, on display to inspire the next generation of female talent.
Alyssa, it is so nice to meet you from afar and virtually. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. I have to wonder, it has been a year in so many respects, in respects to your career. The World Series was just won, and it was a bizarro ending to that whole thing. Has it sunk in for you yet?
I think so. And I think, that's from the beginning, that's a very common question, though across like the months of the year so far, it's meant different, there's been different meanings to it, but the term of like, has it sunk in yet? I think now I'm just realizing like, I just, along with everybody else, need to just take things like one day at a time and like appreciate the good things that are happening and learn from the not so good things. But yeah, I think this off season, I've really had a chance to sit back and reflect on all that's happened, both for me personally and professionally, and then of course, with everything going on in the world and just in the baseball industry itself. So I think it has sunk in, but there's still a lot of like, wow, I can't believe that happened, or like, holy cow, like somebody pinched me, I'm here. So it's just kind of a wide range of emotions, I think.
You said that you want to make an impact on people so they realize they can do and be whatever they want. Did you ever see this as the way that you would make an impact?
No, quite honestly, I didn't, because I didn't ever see, like, obviously didn't see anybody, a female in this position before. And I just never had like the big dream of being an on-field coach, but as I started my grad school program at USF and was in the city and working with a variety of sports teams, and then really got my foot in the door with the Giants in 2014, I realized like, oh yeah, I want to be in this organization for a really long time, and I want to continue to move up and just impact the organization as best as I can, while also just kind of staying true to who I am and continue to kind of live by the values that are strong for me, and, you know, impact people around me, like whether it's, you know, my family or friends or people that I don't really know but had just met. I think that we all can make impacts in the world by just being there for people, being really good listeners, and chiming in with advice when people need it or want it. And so I think just as you know, 2019 was coming to an end and Gabe Kapler became the manager, that's when I really realized like, oh man, I think like I want to get back onto like the baseball side of the organization. And for me, I was just thinking like impact as in like impact the organization and just to help out like the community in San Francisco in any way that I can. But by doing this and Cap kind of giving me this opportunity, it's clearly become a much bigger and broader impact, especially to young girls.
Well, you say you wanted to bring your values, your set of values to the organization. What are those? You know, when you think of like, okay, this is this is what I want to represent? What is it?
I think overall it's like living in a healthy way, and not just like eating well, working out, but just having like healthy thoughts every single day. I think that and for me, and I think for a lot of people, especially going through like my early 20s and with social media and just like so much news and information, there's a lot of negativity out there. And I think that we all can kind of fall victim into thinking negative things about ourselves, about others, about certain states of the world. And I think that ultimately it's important that we just kind of take a step back and think, okay, how can I be like a positive light in this world today? What can I do? And I think that's just ultimately like the biggest value that I have, is making sure that I'm waking up every single day and wondering and asking myself, okay, how can I help one person today? Or how can I help this group of people today? Or how can I move, like make an impact in this part of my job today? And I think for me, it's just really looking at things one step at a time, with a strong mindset and good mindset of having like a positive outlook on it.
Is that what you said to Cap, like when you were talking to him about joining his staff? Because I know there was no particular job description. You just said, these are the things I think I can do, not knowing that this would turn into a coaching position.
Yeah, I think that those conversations and those interviews were really all about like the human connection, and Cap just kind of getting a feel of who I was as a person and the experience that I had within the Giants organization, and just playing college softball and kind of moving up, and just my journey to get to where I was. And ultimately, I think that he just realized I was somebody who's kind of been put in a lot of different roles and kind of been on different paths. But ultimately, I'm somebody that really loves to help out in any way that I can. I'm pretty thorough in all that I do, and I love to work with teams and work with a wide range of personalities. And that's what he was really looking for when he was putting together our entire staff. And, certainly we all bring something a little bit different to the table and different specialties. And for me, what he talks about and mentioned is like, I'm kind of a Swiss Army knife and can be, put in different roles and really assist in a variety of areas within the game and within this organization.
I know you are very proud of the relationship that you've developed with the players specifically. Talk about that dynamic.
Yeah, I think another big question that was asked a lot before spring training was, how are you going to connect with the players, or how are you going to build the relationship? And I think ultimately it's, my mindset, and to this day, it's like, well, I don't want to force anything. I just kind of want to connect with these guys on a human level, and ultimately like ensure that they know I'm here to assist them and assist our coaching staff in whatever it is that it may be. I also think that from the beginning, they realized that, and they saw that, and they saw me come to work every single day and work hard and always lend a helping hand in whatever area that needed some assistance. And then on just like the building relationship side, I think me growing up with two older brothers and being around them and their friends constantly, honestly really helped me, step into this role and feel really comfortable around a lot of men at all different ages.
There are still, though, only a handful of women who are coaching in Major League Baseball. Do you think that trickle can become a waterfall soon? Because, it seems like to me, from what you're saying, from what I've heard Rachel Folden say, like the culture is accommodating. So where's the disconnect?
Yeah, I think that we'll certainly see kind of a trickle effect and more women getting into baseball, because they are seeing that these roles are possible. When I was growing up and, in college, just getting out of college, I didn't really see a lot of women working in professional baseball. And it wasn't until I got my foot in the door, just in the sport industry in general, that I did see, okay, there's this wave of really like strong, powerful women coming into the sport industry, and baseball is included in that. And yes, I think ultimately, like, my experience this year and in the clubhouse with this team, with the organization, with other players and other coaches of other teams, like, has been overwhelmingly positive. And it is very accommodating, in my opinion. I think it's just a matter of, you know, women ensuring that they are taking the steps forward and really pushing for roles that they really want. And then also it's those people that are in those hiring positions, or the managers, or you know, the directors of player development, to kind of open the door to other people and really look for a diverse set of candidates when they're interviewing for certain positions.
Alyssa Nakken at first base, one of 13 coaches the Giants added to their staff this year.
Let's talk about July 20th. What do you remember about that day? I won't say it's the day you made history, because you made history before that when you were hired, but this is the day we saw you.
Yeah, well, that day was really special because we were going to be playing against a team that wasn't ourselves. You know, we were so excited that we were finally getting to compete against another team. So ultimately, there was just so much energy going into that day. We were all excited that we had made it that far. And on the bus ride over to Oakland, I was sitting with Antoine Richardson, who is our first base coach. And he mentioned, you know, hey, get ready. Like, I'm going to have you come in and coach first in the 7th inning. And I really didn't think too much of it, because we had inter squad games that whole week prior. And we were both coaching first base for like the opposing teams. And so I was, you know, very comfortable now with our group and our team and being out on the field. And then, you know, we're getting into BP, and I was just like going over all the signs again and making sure I had all the notes set for all the opposing pitchers of the A's, so that I knew, like, I could give the appropriate information to all of our players that reached base. And but I wasn't nervous. I was just like, all right, this is work and ready to go. Like, I'm ready. I'll be ready in the 7th inning. And then in the 6th inning, Antoine came out and he was like, okay, you're going to go in now. It's like, okay. And so I run out onto the field, and, you know, I had, again, like, been coaching first during our inter squads at Oracle Park, and then to be like in the Coliseum and, you know, just a change of scenery, it was just kind of a wide range of emotions right then. It was, one was like, again, this is really cool. We're playing against, you know, a different team. And like this whole, the shutdown and the back and forth between the league and the Players Association just caused so many emotions for us all. So it was really, really like a humbling moment, and very grateful to be able to be at that moment and playing against a different team. And then I realized, like, oh, okay, yeah. And I don't think, you know, another female has coached on the field before. And I'm pretty sure this game is being televised. So then I was just kind of thinking, like, I wonder if, like, people will notice. And then I got back into the clubhouse, and, you know, we were like on our way home on the bus, and I had my phone, and yeah, people had noticed. So it was fun. It was awesome. And again, it was just like really fun to like get out there and be on the field.
I mean, I can tell you as an, you know, an older woman, like, that it had an impact. And I know you were getting feedback from all kinds of people like Jenny Finch and Billie Jean King. But what have you heard from young people? I won't even say young girls, but because young boys, this will impact them too, and what they see.
Yeah, I think a good example, I was actually just out at a youth baseball practice yesterday, and there's one young girl on that team, and she's 9 years old, and all the other boys are 11 years old. And she was just talking to me about how she's always nervous coming into practice. And I told her, like, I get nervous too, but, you know, I'm often just more nervous when I'm thinking about what's going to happen, like during that anticipation phase. But once I'm in it, then, and the balls are being hit and everything, we're just kind of going, the nerves just go away and you just be. And she was like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel now that we're practicing. Like, I'm not so nervous anymore. And then she was like, I think I might want to coach one day too. And she's like, I don't know if I want to play the game, but I just want to learn it and I want to coach one day. And I've seen you out there, and I've kind of like know about all the different positions that you had before, and so that was like, well, I'm finally getting to be around more people now, and to hear it directly from a young girl who I had never met before, and just talk to her about, we have very similar thoughts, even though she's 9, I'm 30. It's just like, it's very similar, and like having the nerves, going through that anticipation, and then once you're on the field and competing, like you feel a little bit better, your shoulders can relax a little. And so yeah, I think like that just was kind of a very eye-opening moment for me. And the young boys, I think it's great because they're able to just see and see that like women can be in these positions and do just as good of a job as the men. And I think ultimately that's just going to help with the male-female dynamic in really all industries.
And Alyssa, I'll wrap it up with this. If you had the opportunity to talk to a young you, so we're talking, 20 years ago, what would your advice be?
I would tell myself to stop sweating the small stuff and stop striving for perfection. Because I was like that type of kid. I just thought that I needed to be the best in everything. Everything needed to be perfect. And I would like feel like so overwhelmed and stressed. And I think at a young age, like have a great amount of anxiety if things weren't like how I was thinking they should be. And I think my advice to myself would be like, keep your head down and work hard, but understand that if what you think your path is going to be, if it takes a turn, like take it and keep your eyes wide open and just absorb all of the learnings that are going to come from that new path that you're going down.
That's great advice for any age. Alyssa, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tara. This was fun.